Good evening, everyone. It has been a fucking while since I have done a stream. I do apologize, and I'm also kind of tempting fate right now since we are supposed to be having a storm around us. Um, and we're going to see if my internet's going to hold together if that takes off. But without further ado, welcome to the stream. It's a D&D stream, people. So, I realize improved initiative, if I can spell, we need to go to our improved initiative page because we still have to finish fixing our plant possessed. Now, I have not forgotten that we were originally here to fix these broken bastards. So, let's get rid of that and bring in the magical editor. So, we'll start with this and then we'll get into what I'm trying to work on for a special surprise for any of my players. But first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. These things damn attack. Thornclaw being a +6 to hit, I'm going to keep that. But we are going to drop the 3d6 down to... what is it? I dropped it down to 3d4 plus 5. So, on a max hit, you know what? We're going to keep the 6 and we're going to drop it to a 2d6 plus 5. So total, that's a 17. That's a bit more in line with balance. And then we're going to have the 6 to a 3. So, okay, that's a bit more, right? That's better. We do need to fix our averages here. So, it should be an 11. Yeah, I think that's right. This should be a 7. I think that's correct. Let's give this a quick save. We'll bring in the plant possess, and just for fuck's sake, we'll throw in Mindardus. We're gonna say, let's make them 15 and 15 respectively. Cool, Mindardus is going first. Alright. Whatever, Mindardus attacks. Because right now I'm just trying to make sure that the plant possessed is doing its attacks correctly. So, plant possessed turns. It's going to attack Mindardus. So, let's deal the max damage first. Guaranteed hit, because, we're testing this. So, multi-attack is 2 Thorn Claws, and... okay. I don't have D6s on me. But let's just say it's max damage. So that's 12, 5, 6, 17 for the first. And then that ups it to... because I know I'm kind of racing out of the gate here. But just from the get-go, I'm trying to address the elephant in the room of these things being overpowered. And also, I realized the last time I streamed monkeying around with my homebrew monster here was that I pitted 6 of my team against 6 of them. And CRs and players don't always equal the same. So I'm a bit more awake now. I realize that was a dumb mistake and a stupid ass decision, and I will never fucking do it again. For now. Anyway. So yeah, let's do max damage. Guaranteed hit, max damage, so 12, 17, so 17 plus 17, 34 for the first hit. And then the trunk bash, which is 2d4, so 11 on top of that for a 45. Total of 45 damage. Ow. That hurts. Yeah, that's a big oof ouch owie. Bring up a calculator real quick. I'm just trying to figure out what Mandardas's total health pool is. Oh, so we nearly dealt half his damage, half his health in one blow. So we will bring that 45 back up, and now we'll do medium damage. So we'll take the average of both, so 22, so 29. Okay, not too bad. And then okay, sure, we'll up him by that much. And then finally, least amount of damage, so 1s across the board, gives us 14 plus 5, so 19 total. That's a bit more in line. That seems correct. Max damage can totally hurt you. Average damage does a decent amount. Lower end, not as bad. I'm gonna call this a quick. I don't mean to like fix this with a just quick, sticker. Is like it's fixed. It'll be fine. But this is what it should have been during my last stream. Like I played it out just to see what combat could be like and what the random dice rolls could be. This is very much so the straight to the point, boring. Yeah, it's kind of what it is. You take, in my opinion, you take the low, the average, and the high, and you determine, is it too much or is it too little or is it just fine? Honestly, I think we've hit a point with this where it is probably fine. So I say we're probably good. Right, 119. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, we'll clear that up. Yeah, we'll wipe that out. So, now, I am excited to start working on a one-shot for Halloween. If my players are watching this, surprise, I'm changing things up. Originally, we were going to do an evil one-shot with purely evil characters. And I said we were going to do this back in like January or last December. And yeah, life got away from me. So it has become something of a, well, I've just not organized my life correctly. It's been difficult to get things in the proper, to do things right. I don't know what the fuck I'm going on about. So I am making a Barotrauma one-shot. So here's what we are doing. My plan right now is I am going to give my players, and we are going to build these out. We give them the stats and everything of the submarines. I am planning on picking 1 attack sub, 1 deep diver sub, and 1 scout sub. My players will get to choose which sub they will pilot. And I'm thinking just for extra fun, they can keep their evil characters, and we will just slap on the roles of the subs, like your captain, your engineer, your security officer, your medic, All of those will be written in as special backgrounds that the players can tack on to their characters, so not much changes. Um, excuse me. They still have the ability to keep the characters they've made with all their spells, with all their feats. I am allowing that to stay in because honestly, it only seems fair that I'm kind of springing this last minute. Um, but it's also like 5 minutes to midnight, and I don't think any one of my players are watching right now. So we're gonna go through some of these subs, and we're gonna see just what we get here. So for those of you who don't know about Barotrauma, Barotrauma is it's a submarine game, similar to, I believe the game's called We Must Go Deeper. There's a lot of similar submarine games out there, but Barotrauma is kind of like a survival horror. I'm thinking we're not going to go with the Bursuck. Humpback might be a good one to go with. But the point of Barotrauma is to survive on the alien moon of Europa by doing all of these different submarine missions. You can blow up, you can go hunt down swarms of alien monsters to kill. You can be just a transport vessel, or you can be an exploration vessel. And obviously, along the way, you run into all of these different alien creatures that are totally willing and can kill you by any means necessary, of just totally breaking through your hulls, sinking your ship, and you will have the worst day of your life just by swimming through the ocean of Europa. So, with that out of the way, now we are going to try and find the sub that we are going to use. Good God, what is the Typhon? This is a vanilla sub? It's so fucking big. Jesus. Okay. So. I think the Humpback might be our go-to for the attack subs. And the Humpback's kind of deceiving for what you would consider an attack sub. Kestrel. I'm not really liking these layouts, honestly. Okay, that's all we have for attacks. I'm going to go with the Humpback, and we're going to take that with us. So we're going to take the Humpback, and I don't know why I didn't do this before. Give me 1 second. We're going to put the Humpback, if I can. There we go. Humpback is on its own page. Does this have the stats for it? No. Jump back right over here. So this has general information. Cool. Because we will translate a lot of this information into making it a D&D vehicle. Now, we only have 2 deep divers in vanilla, which is the Remora and the Winter Halter. I don't think I've seen Winter Halter. Oh, that's right. The Remora has like a mini sub on it, doesn't it? Isn't that like a detachable sub, or is that supposed to be like a giant ballast tank? Excuse me. I do apologize. I'm having a bit of a cough, and I'm trying to get over a cold. Okay, so Remora is an interesting one. Oh, the Winter Halter has a detachable mini sub. I think the Remora is just like This is supposed to act as your ballast tank, so you can pull your sub down quicker, but Winter Halter actually has a detachable. Okay. I think we're going to go with the Winter Halter for our deep diver. So we have our humpback for our attack and Winter Halter for our excuse me. We have the humpback for our attack, Winter Halter for our deep diver, and so the last one we need is a scout. The dugong is a trusty little sub, kind of your par for the course sub, honestly. It's reliable. It's what you think a submarine should be. Orca, what we got for that? Okay, okay. Orca 2. I don't know. I'm not really feeling the orcas. Alright. I do apologize. This cough is killing me. What is the azimuth? If I remember correctly, azimuth, beryllia, and what was the first one? The dugong? Yeah. Dugong, azimuth, and beryllia are some of the more reliable ones that we've used in game. But I don't know if azimuth is going to be a good one to take. Okay, so the R29. She's a big one, too. Because ideally, I'm actually going to print out these pictures and use them as maps for my players. So, in terms of what I'm looking for as a DM, what I'm looking for here is, do I want something my characters or my players know about and can exploit, or am I looking for, I guess, like utility? Off the top of my head, what I'm looking for in these subs are just layout, exploration, and then also what would my characters need to use? Because I'm translating this from a PC game to a D&D game. It's doable. It really is. It only takes minor tweaking. But, and I might have to boot up Barotrauma myself to find and look at some of these subs right now, which I think I'm gonna do. So let me just quickly bring up Barotrauma, wherever it's at. There we go. So I'll boot that up. Because I think actually getting into the game and showing what these subs look like will be beneficial to everything. Okay, that's loud. I'm trying to adjust myself here in my seat, and I'm getting my feet caught on everything. Alright, let's jump over here. Bear with me for just a moment as I get things figured out. There we go. Okay, we are gonna go into the submarine editor here, and we are just gonna bring up. So what do I have? I believe humpback. Okay, clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Open. And then we'll bring up the humpback. Load anyway. Maybe. There we are. Okay. So, as a DM looking at this, what I am looking to give my players is what can I translate from this game into D&D as potential events for my characters to interact with? The, them using the submarine, they will never really move in outside of the vehicle. They will be able to have diving suits. They will be able to have like their ability to leave the sub. However, in terms of the sub moving, that's really not going to be up for, like, that's a theater of the mind trick, obviously. But in terms of moving around inside the sub, I need to be able to get a sense of how long is this sub? How big is this sub? Because if 1 square equals 5 feet, well, this thing is laying on its side for every bit of travel and every... I don't know if I'm trying to be like too over the top with how I'm planning this, but basically what I'm trying to get to is like, if I drop a character in here, like take the door for example, that's about the height of your character, of any character. So say, for instance, one of my characters decided to be a Minotaur. If a Minotaur is 6 to 7 feet tall, they're gonna be banging their head on all of this. And I, at this current moment, have no idea. I have no recollection of what race or height any of my characters have picked for their evil campaign. Because like I said, they can use their evil characters or they can make completely new ones. And I have wanted to do something like this for a while. And we've done similar campaigns, like, or not campaigns, one shots for these in the past. And I mean, we did oh god, what is it called? Starfinder and Alien, like 2 different space themed one shots that more or less had the same goal in the end. Like, they had to go find a derelict vessel, get onto it, recover something, and then get back to their own ship. One went super quick. The other spanned, I think, maybe 2 or 3 sessions. My group and I have a tendency of not really finishing a one-shot in one sitting all the time. So they end up being like 2-3 parters. But what I'm hoping to encapsulate, I don't know why I'm trying to pick really big words. What I'm hoping to get out of this one shot is more the horror and the limitation, I guess. Because I can throw as many monsters at them as I please. My players will be limited and stuck inside this sub. And I can see my players going one of 2 ways with playing this version, like my one shot, in D&D. They're either gonna go, let's face it, murder hobo / stupid, or they're going to be super analytical and super straight to the point. If they go straight to the point, I would be, I'd be kind of surprised, because that's not normally how, I mean, it is how they do some of our campaigns, but, or at least the one shots. When I've been DM for these one shots, we've had the odd side effect of generating like really interesting stories that end up taking place over the course of different one shots. And Halloween one shots have a special place in our group since they are the first seasonal one shots that we were that we have been continuously doing as like a tradition in our friend group. So I am really hoping to capture the horror of being stuck in a sub on an alien planet. My plan right now for the 3 subs that I'm looking to make, I believe the Humpback is the one I chose. I'm blanking on names. The Humpback is going to have a decent AC. Probably an AC of 25, a decent strength, a decent dex, and the Constitution's going to be maxed. Obviously, these vehicles are not going to have wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Duh, that goes without saying. For the deep diver, like the Winter Halter here, the AC has to be higher up. So I'm capping that at a 30. The Humpback, I'm thinking maybe bring back to like a 20. And then your Scout will probably have an AC of 15 and just be a very dexterous and nimble sub. Let's see, which one were we looking at for our... Azimuth was a Scout. The Dugong, I believe. So let's bring up the Dugong. Right, so the Dugong is kind of similar to the Humpback. It's your standard kind of sub layout. So I'm picking very simple and basic bitch subs so that I can sit here and accurately determine which will work best for my group's needs. I'm going to make an executive decision myself that I'm settling with the Dugong, the Humpback, and the Winter Halter. What my party will do is I will offer them the subs. So, based off this sub, because I guess we'll start with the Dugong, because this is going to be a long process that I will work on even outside of this stream. But we can actually hop out of Barotrauma, because now we will jump back to our to our files here. So what am I looking to accomplish here? Well, I want to establish a sense of horror and being trapped. So these are my goals that I'm looking to set. Limited space and movement. Monsters with high attack. And what else? Because a lot of the monsters in Barotrauma are unique. And I have them. They are right here. I need to come up with at least a handful of stat blocks for them, even though a lot of it's just going to be dealt with on the outside. Like, they will be using the subs and its weapons primarily. So, I'm talking a big game. I'm talking a really big game for what I'm going to do. So, you have hammerheads, you have crawlers, you have mud raptors, you have, like, we have tons and tons. Okay, maybe not tons and tons, but we have enough monsters that we're not going to worry about them right now. Let's establish our goals. So we have sense of horror and being trapped, limited space and movement, monsters with high attack and mobility. let's see, a impending sense of, I want to say misery, but that don't seem right. An impending sense of doom and death. Because if any of you have played Barotrauma, that happens. Very much so when you least expect it. So, how do I go about accomplishing these? Well, I'm going to say the submarines. The submarines are the player's living space, the moving space. It will be the board. It will be everything that they have to move. Let's see. Right now my brain is trying to rack itself around trying to convert the 5 feet of movement for a hex into movable space for the submarine. And this is where I think it's going to get a little different from D&D. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I did not bring up the dugong. So let me go back and we'll bring up the dugong. There we go. All right. So it's a fairly straight line on the bottom. That should be about, God. Does it give us 34 meters by 8 meters? I don't really know how to convert that. So maybe we're not going to touch on like the movement space right now. So let's determine dugong substats. Dugong shall have an AC of 15, strength of we're going to give it a strength of 18, a dex of 17, and a con of 19. Wisdom 0, int 0, and charisma 0. For our obvious reasons. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the dugong and see what it can fit. It has a max speed of 22 kilometers an hour and a max descent of 12. So how I'm going to translate that is speed will be, let's see, 22. So I'm going to decrease that by 2 just for the sake of evening things out. We're going to make it an even 20. And we're going to give speed, we're going to break into 2 sections. Bog standard speed will be projecting forward and moving backward. And then we will use, we'll call the other one ballast, your ballast speed of 10, right? Because it had a descent speed of 12. So I'm just taking off those 2 to round them down and fit into D&D's very even based. Because if I up it to 25, that's a little too fast. You know what? I'm going to side with my players. So I'm going to make the executive decision. It's going to be a speed forward and backward of 25 and then a ballast speed, so rise and fall of 15. What this means for the players is that they will rise a certain speed and fall a certain speed. And like I said, the sub's going to be the whole map. They will never see outside the sub. I will be able to describe things for them, but I think half of the fear for this one shot will be it's all theater of the mind and they don't really know what that stuff might be. So moving on. I have a fabricator. Okay, so it has 2 coil guns. So we'll say that's a feat. Coil guns. X2. And we'll say those coil guns deal. We'll say it's a plus. Say it's a +3 to hit. And they do. How do I want to do this? Because obviously a coil gun to anyone outside of the ship is going to deal a lot of damage. It's going to have a lot more hit. So there's going to be a discrepancy. So how I'm going to rule damage for these coil guns is going to be to anything outside the ship or anything that is not a player character. It will deal the equivalent of, we'll say, 2d12. Piercing damage, right? (2d12) piercing damage. (2d12) plus 5 piercing damage. Now that's what the coil guns are going to deal damage to anything that's not a player character. Now granted, my characters can be dumb. And I'm going to fit this in there as a failsafe in case anyone were to, I don't know, swim outside of the sub. And let's just say there's a miscommunication and one of our players ends their turn in front of the coil gun. And let's just say one of my players decides to fire the coil gun and they shoot a player character. Barotrauma does have friendly fire, if my memory serves correctly. So, a coil gun to a player, is a +8 to hit. And I'm going to say probably 2d20 plus 15. Because this is military grade weapons. Please don't get in front of the guns. Maybe I'm thinking too much on the guns. Or at least, maybe they shouldn't do that much damage to a player. I would argue they are military grade weapons and will shred anything that is not, meant to take the hit. I don't know where I was going with that phrase, so yeah, I'm just going to drop that. I'm going to leave it here just for my sake in the future. Damager. So, there is that. What else does the dugong have? it has one electrical discharge coil. So what that is I think it's this bump right here. No, this is it right here. So the discharge coil functions as a taser. So we'd also put it in as a feat. Discharge coil. That's a +5 to hit. Well, actually, it depends on how that discharge coil works. Because discharge coil has to hit them. It has to touch them. So that would have to pass their AC. So I'm trying to figure out how I would code that. We'll say make an attack roll against the creature's AC. On a successful hit. No, I can't type. On a successful hit, the discharge coil deals oh god, say it deals 3d6, right? 3d6 lightning damage, and the creature must make a Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed or paralyzed until its next turn. That seems right. Make an attack roll against the creature's AC. On a successful hit, the discharge coil deals 3d6 lightning damage, and the creature must make a Constitution saving throw or... Okay, we need to set the DC for that saving throw. DC... I'm going to set it at a DC 17. Or be paralyzed until its next turn. On a... failed... Oh, we don't do that. On a successful save, creature takes half damage. Damager. God damn it. My hands can't type. Okay. So. That is everything that can... that is everything that would be player-based. Everything else that I'm seeing from the Dugong so far would be player lore-based, theater of the mind-based, something that the players will need to be filled in on before, they continue playing. So in terms of stats, I'd say the Dugong's ready to go. It obviously needs to be play tested a bit. But for Halloween, I'm honestly not going to care. I am willing to have some things be broken. And they might just... I honestly believe some of my players are going to pick the sub that has the better armor class. So they'll most likely pick the Winter Halter, if I had to guess. So if I'm giving them the Winter Halter, because I tell them, oh, it's a deep diver sub with an AC of 30, they're probably going to take that. However, let's look at what it can do. It has one gun, one railgun, and nothing else. So it's only got 2 guns. And if we take a look at it, the railgun's forward mounted, and the coil gun's way in the back. So it's not for offense. It can't do offense. They trade that armor for, you know, not being able to do anything. So that's our sub. That's what we have right now. What we're going to do with this is we're also going to fill in crew size. What is the crew size for the Dugong? 3 to 5. So the perfect D&D group, honestly. I'll call it personnel. Okay, it's not a misspelling. Reactor. So the reactor is going to have a unique function for this because it's what drives the sub. Every sub in Barotrauma is a nuclear powered sub. So if the reactor gets submerged at all for too long or damaged, there is a chance of it being blown up. Now, obviously, I can't have the reactor just blow up whenever I feel like it. That's not fair to my players. So what I am thinking is the Dugong, or all of them, have this fuel consumption rate and meltdown delay. Now, they don't have any real impact on our D&D setup for it. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to convert and combine the two. So what I'm going to offer up is that for the reactor, every 3 turns, reactor decays fuel by for the Dugong we'll say 15%. So I will keep track of, from 100 it'll slowly tick down 15% at a time, and it'll show me from there how my players will react to that. When there's no fuel, reactor will begin. What's the term I'm looking for? I spelled theirs wrong. When there's no fuel, reactor will begin meltdown within 3 turns if not properly refueled/repaired. We'll give the reactor its own AC. We'll give it an AC of 16 because it's got to have some type of shielding from the radioactive fuel that it's using. And is vulnerable to lightning damage. It's vulnerable to force. Trying to think of all my damage types, and I'm just not. My brain is starting to slowly decay itself into sleep mode. So let's see here. So we have lightning, which would be your electricity. Force, which would be anything crashing into it. Yeah, we'll go with bludgeoning for anyone actually hitting it. And piercing damage due to bullet holes or anything of the like nature. So it has a lot of vulnerabilities. However, it should also have HP of... I'll give it some hit points of about... we'll give it 60 hit points. So, obviously, let's just look at the dugong, for example. So, the reactor is going to be right here. With an AC of 16, yeah, I just realized I'm giving 2 ACs. So, the dugong has an AC of 15, and I think to damage the reactor and the sub, you first have to clear the sub's AC, and you have to clear the reactor's AC. But I can't let the reactor take full damage every time that the sub takes damage. Speaking of which, I just completely forgot that I didn't give the sub hit points. So, let's get that squared away. Hit points. It will have... For the dugong, I'm going to say... I'm going to give it 200 hit points. That's a decent amount of health. Because the humpback is the scout. That's not a lot of health, but it's good enough, especially for a vehicle, especially one made of steel. I'm thinking, in terms of damage affecting the reactor, unless it's water seeping in, excuse me. So what I'm thinking is the damage is reduced by half rounded down for the reactor. So say the sub plummets and crashes on the ocean floor. Now obviously that's a confirmed hit no matter how you look at it. And the sub takes, I'll say 50 points of force damage for colliding with the ground. That's reduced by half, rounded down, so that's only 25 damage to the 60. So that is 35, right? My math correct on that? I don't know. I haven't checked. Let me take a look at my phone here to make sure everything's working correctly with my head. As the night goes on, my brain deteriorates. So 60 minus... Yeah, 35. I was right. I had it. I'm just not functioning right because I'm not used to doing this. So, I'll have 60 hit points. Damages are reduced by half. And just as... put in a DM note here. Damage... Why? I don't know why I am trying to type damager. Damage to reactor must succeed on the sub's AC as well as the reactor's AC to confirm the hit damage to the reactor is half damage rounded down from the damage dealt to the sub. Okay, so let me read this out loud. Damage to the reactor must exceed the sub's AC as well as the reactor's AC to confirm the hit. Damage to the reactor is half damage rounded down from the damage dealt to the sub. It seems repetitive, but at least I know in the future, when I look at this tomorrow morning and go, what the hell was I doing? I can go, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. And then we can fix it from there. So, we are coming up on an hour of live streaming D&D stuff. And with that, I'm going to keep going for another hour. I'm surprised we're not having any stormy weather or anything like that. Huh, nope, nothing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to doing our other subs too. So I'm going to bold that just for my sanity. And bold italicize that just for my own. Next, we're going to do the Winter Halter, just because I believe Winter Halter sub-stats. This is obviously going to have an AC of 30. Hit points of, I'm going to say, if the Dugong's going to have 200 as a scout, and the Humpback's got to have at least 350. I'm thinking we're going to plug 400. Actually, 450. Get a little bit extra, since it's a deep dive sub. I'm also going to bump this down onto the second page. So, going off of that, the strength of the sub is going to be a 19. Dex is going to be a bit slower, so we're going to knock that down to a 16. The con is going to be a straight 20. Wisdom 0, intelligence 0, and charisma 0. Speed, its forward momentum is going to be 21, so we're going to knock that down to 20. So she's a bit slower, but that makes sense. And your ballast speed is going to be 13. I'm actually going to round that up. I'm going to round that up to a 15. So it's got... Now, what I choose to do as a DM will differ for a lot of people. I'm sure some of you watching would probably make different calls on that. That's me. I'm sure my old DM is going to be saying something similar to that. So, what I'm seeing here with fabrication and storage is that fabricator, medical fabricator, deconstructor, and research station, I'm going to treat these as additional feats for the sub, and basically the fabricator will allow the players to make items with the correct crafting material. Medical fabricator will allow them to make drugs with the correct crafting material. And the deconstructor is the opposite of the fabricator. They can break things down to get raw materials. The research station is the unique one where I will give them a recipe at my discretion on what their things are. It all kind of works together in its odd little circle. And like I said, with the Winter Halter, coil gun and rail gun is really the only thing that they have. So I'm going to do... Actually, I'm going to replace the fact that it says feat with weapon. Because, duh, that's what they are. And we're going to do the same thing down here. Weapon. Coil gun. And we're just going to copy and paste that because it's the same damn thing. Railgun. Now, the railgun's gonna be fun because off the bat, that fucker. Wait. I was gonna say a plus 10. I caught myself. The reason I said it was gonna be a plus 10 was because, oh, it's always gonna hit. Not necessarily. Your plus to the attack means you're pretty good at hitting. So if anything, I should actually up the coil gun from a plus 3 to like a plus 6. Because it's more accurate to hit something. It can move quicker than a railgun. The railgun should probably be the plus 3 to hit. And I just left out the O, so it's it. I didn't say tit. Anyway, the railgun is going to deal about... I'm going to go out on a limb and say... I'm going to say it's going to deal 5d6 damage. Sorry, 5d12 damage. 5d12 plus 4. Piercing damage? Maybe? Like, this is... The railgun shreds. The railgun will kill anything in front of it. Not guaranteed, but if a human gets in front of it, that human's dead. So... I'm gonna just grab this section here and bring it down. Luckily, a railgun is easier to get out of the way, so I'm actually going to argue that it loses. It's going to be a plus 2 to hit. And I'm going to say that bitch is a 6d20 plus 25 piercing damage. You gonna die, boy. So, again, if you guys don't agree with this, I am tired as hell. I have no goddamned way of knowing if I'm even gonna do this right. Hold on. Is my timing off? Okay, no. Excuse me. I lost track of time when I was trying to set up, I guess. So, okay. So, we're going to do our feats now. So, feat fabricator. Players can craft items using a recipe and crafting material found in their sub and through exploration. PCs will need to make a DC intelligent. Sorry, should I actually put the number of the DC in before I just say what they're rolling? DC 16. Intelligence check to successfully craft an item. Next feat, medical fabricator. We can kind of copy and paste this since it's the same damn thing. And craft medicinal items using a recipe and crafting material found in their sub and through explorations. We're going to change that from a DC 16 to a DC 18. And instead of intelligence, medicine. That makes the most sense. And or drugs. And or drug. There we go. Deconstructor. So, a bit of the same. However, players can deconstruct an item receiving crafting materials for their journey. PCs will need to make a DC. We'll keep it at 16 as well in an intelligence check. Because, I mean, you're using essentially what is the fabricator in reverse to do that. And then last feat is research table. Players can find crafting recipes through using the research station feat. Let's add a caveat to it. The player will know this recipe until they use the almost a crafting station, the research station again. That way there's a bit of a limit to it. Of what limit? I don't know. This isn't getting beta tested, so this will be an interesting draw. Let's see. Let's use a DC. I don't know. We've used intelligence quite a lot. What else can we use? Let's see. Let's say insight. A DC 15 insight. We'll get rid of intelligence. Because insight is all about finding out what works. And I mean, that fits what a research table is. So you use your insight. Why not? I don't know. Let's see. I got a lot for the Winter Halter. This is actually working out fairly well. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Anything else from Winter Halter? Ah, yes, the reactor. So, let's come up here, grab that. What does the Winter Halter say? It is a crew size of 8 to 12. They won't even have 8 to 12 people, so they might not even take it. And 12 personnel. I don't know. That's a bigger sub. I'm gonna say 2 turns. Well, I think we'll just up that to, say, 40%. We'll give them a bit more of a buffer. AC for that, I'm gonna drop to a 15. Not too hard. This will have a bit more health, just cause. And I think we're done with the Winter Halter. Got our speeds, got our feats, got our weapons, got our meltdown and decay rate, got our shit. So all right, we're at 2 subs out of 3, so we're doing good. Now I need to come up with monsters, and I need to come up with the backgrounds for my people. On time. Okay. Sadly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do 2 hours, but I'm gonna do an hour and a half. So I'm gonna try and get through these next 15 minutes as sober as I can, because I can feel myself nodding off. With that, what the hell should we focus on? Fuck it. Let's get the humpback out of the way and just cap off the night with 3 subs. We already know what we're gonna be dealing with. It's an attack class vessel, so I think what I'll do here is I'll just add a page break. And right, where's my brakes at? Maybe. There they are. Maybe. There we go. Alright. Finally, the humpback substats. AC of 20. You know, if I can... Oh. There we go. AC of 20. Hit point pool of... What did I say it was going to be? Yeah, we're going to beat this up to 350. So she's got some health to her. What's going on here? Let's see. Strength is going to be a 18. Dex, again, we're going to make that an 18 as well. Con, we're going to make that a 17. Wisdom, 0. Int, 0. Charisma, 0. I don't know why I put the rest of these in bold. Well, if they're all doing it, then everyone should do it. Alright. Right, what's our speed for the humpback? I'm going to get rid of the dugong and the winter halter. So she's got... Damn, she's got a max speed of 25 and a descent of 15. I think I know which one my team's going to be going for. Right, it was a 15. Yes, okay. What do we have for weapons on the dugong? 2 coil guns and 1 rail gun. Do we have any depth charges? No. And no discharge coils either. So we will just jump up back here, grab this entire weapon, copy that, drop it right there. And then we have 1 railgun, right? Yep, 1 railgun. So we'll just come to the Winter Halter, grab that, and plug that right in down there. Look at that. Now, does the humpback have... So it has everything except for the research station. So again, just copy and paste. Once you make a few, it starts to become easy to just, oh, okay, this is what I need. And I mean, this is all for fun. I don't need it to be super in-depth. Okay. So we don't need this to be super in-depth. It's not a system that we will be playing for long term. Although if for some reason my party and I just decide to start playing this long term, which has been known to happen, I think this will be an insanely fun time. Especially if you decide to bring in like the imposter status into it. All right, so I think I'm gonna give the humpback the same meltdown as the. I'm gonna give the humpback's reactor the same meltdown as the dugong. Like exactly, because I just think it'll be a bit easier for them. 4 to 6. All right. Wow, that took less time than I thought it would. Is there anything else we need to be adding to these? Da-da. All right, we've got our subs. So I think for the rest of the night, because I got just a couple more minutes here, I am going to look up Captain Background 5e. Let's do that. Okay, Sailor works too. We'll take Sailor as the base and see what we get. Because each station in Barotrauma is going to have its own unique, you know, tool proficiencies, skill proficiencies, and obviously your equipment, which is what you'll start with. Oh my god, I feel so exhausted. So, let's not waste any time. I'm actually going to drag this over and bring this to my separate screen so that I can view it and just get a better handle with, you know, what I'm looking at. So, I'll jump over here and we will make backgrounds slash for some reason I'm weirded out by the slashes. We'll go with that one. Background slash roles. Start with the captain. So, skill proficiencies. Holy shit, I got it right. The captain should be good with persuasion, since he's got to convince his crew, and we'll do survival. Tool proficiencies. Command computer. Oop. Command computer. Actually, I don't know why I'm putting command computer when I should just say, you know, submarine, considering he drives the damn thing. and we'll say navigator's tools for the computer. Just to summarize that up. For equipment, we're gonna give him a revolver, a pipe, captain's hat. Oh God, what else? He should have a radio and a oxygen mask. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not going to add a lot of features to them because this is just quick and easy stuff that they should have in order to, you know, do their role on the ship. Let's do engineer next. I'm gonna make this easy on myself and just grab all this, bring it all the way down. So what we'll do, we'll just change this. So obviously his skill proficiencies are going to be help me, Dice Cloud. My brain is to the point where I need to see the stats in order to know what the hell I'm doing. Oh God, I just need to pick a dude. Sure, Flynn. Let's see. God, what can we do? I'm going to say performance. Performance. And let's see, what's another skill he can have? It's an engineer. We'll go ahead and give him a new one. You know, just for this, we'll say, we'll do machine handling. And it'll kind of function similar to animal handling. Tool proficiencies, obviously. Reactor. Reactors. I don't think engineers do the repairs, but I could be wrong with that. I'll put repair kit for now, and if I find out later, then I'll just fix it. So for equipment, they get a wrench, a screwdriver, a handful of various wires, a welding torch, which will fix the hull. And what else? What else? I don't think they get much else. Oh yeah, and a radio. Let's see. Do bolt that so we know where that's at. Alright. I'm gonna turn in. I'm gonna call it for the night. I am sad that I am not going to be able to do 2 hours, but hey, we're at about an hour and a half, so that's better than nothing. That's better than doing my normal, you know, just my hour and then, okay, bye. Um, so, thank you guys for watching. I know it's been hectic and crazy. I'm trying to go the extra mile here. I hope we are having fun making or watching me flounder to make a one shot because I'm sleep deprived and trying to come up with really unique D&D ideas for my players here. Just between you and me, I don't think they watch my content though, so I don't think they're gonna know anything about this. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I am gonna turn in. It has been fun coming up with these ideas. I am gonna keep working on these tomorrow. I'm probably gonna record them. I might stream. I don't know yet, but I will see you guys on Monday for the fresh stream. Fresh stream. Wow, I need to go to bed. Okay. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.